I've looked at what the Prime Minister said last night about the three things that she said are changed. She said there's now a power to suspend the backstop if there's bad faith by the EU that is found by the arbitration panel. Well, that's true. The problem is that was in the original withdrawal agreement signed off in November, so that's not new. She said that there's no duty to replicate the backstop in the future arrangement. Well, that's true, but the problem is that was in the letter of the 14th of January from President Juncker and Tusk that was put before Parliament last time. And then the third thing she says is that that joint letter of the 14th of January is now legally binding. Well, that's true, but what she said last time was it had legal force. So when you actually read carefully through the documents, I think the only conclusion is they don't really change anything. And if they don't change anything, then anybody who voted against the deal last time has to ask themselves why they would vote for it now. It isn't good enough, and our central challenge to the government has been on the political declaration, actually, not the withdrawal agreement so much. And what we've challenged there is that we really ought to be in a customs union to protect manufacturing and in single market alignment to protect our service sector. And that combination is the only combination that delivers on the promise of no hard border in Northern Ireland. None of that has changed. So nothing in the documents last night changes any of that. So the core reason that the Labour Party voted against the deal remains exactly the same. I don't think her party is behind it. 2 weeks ago, she had to concede she would have a vote tomorrow, if necessary, on taking no deal off the table. She didn't do that voluntarily. She did that because members of her own party said, we are not prepared to leave on the 29th of March without a deal. So you've got the whole of the opposition in one place, significant numbers of Tory MPs, including cabinet members, saying we're not going to leave without a deal on the 29th of March. So the Prime Minister simply hasn't got a majority for her strategy, and she's going to have to make further concessions. There's 3 days of really big decisions. Once we're through all of that and the dust has settled, then what we really need to do is to find a majority in Parliament to break the impasse. And we in the Labour Party have been arguing for a long time that any relationship ought to be a close economic relationship with the EU, and there ought to be a public vote, a confirmation vote if you like, on any deal that does get through, that the Prime Minister does get through, as a sort of lock on that deal.